everybody, welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you're not. Thank you so much for returning to my videos. Today I'm going to do a chat about disability and how that relates to being a student with the Open University. First of all, I would just like to say I apologise. I know I'm uploading this a day late. I'm actually filming this on Sunday morning and it's going to go up by Sunday afternoon because I don't want to let you all down. I know that there's a few of you waiting for a video just like this. You might notice I'm in a different place. That is because it is ridiculously hot and ridiculously sunny, and I'm in my son's room because it's the only room that hasn't got blinding light in it, so you can actually see me, which is nice. Maybe for some of you. So first of all, if you don't know me and you haven't watched any of my other videos, my name is Stacey. I'm going into my third year of study with the Open University, but I am a part-time student, so my degree is 6 years long. So this year is technically the first year of my second year, the first year of my second year, yeah, of my degree. So I'm currently studying for a degree in childhood and youth studies, and I make videos like this to kind of help people who are thinking of studying with the OU, who are studying with the OU, things like that. So because when I first wanted to study with the OU, I didn't see any videos like this, and I thought it might be useful to some people. The reason I feel somewhat qualified to make this particular video is that I have disabilities. So little bit about me: I have fibromyalgia, I have chronic migraines, and I have complex PTSD. I take medications for some of those, and unhelpfully, two of the medications I take actually make being in this kind of heat quite dangerous for me, hence the reason I'm a bit late in posting this actually. So the medicines that I take can actually make my body find it really difficult to cope with the heat. So I don't, metabolize isn't the word, but I just cannot regulate my heat within my body properly. I apologize for the noises. All of the windows are open. We'll just have to deal with the background noises today. Okay, so first things first, I do just want to say before I forget, lots of students that study with the OU, Open University, have disabilities. I didn't realise that when I first started. I just assumed it was going to be people like me, in the sense of mature students who wanted to go back to university in the easiest possible way to get a degree. I didn't realise that how disability positive the OU are, and it didn't occur to me. I suppose it did on a personal level, but it didn't occur to me how much easier it would be for many people with many different disabilities to study with the OU. It was, what I focused on was how easy it would be for me, how much easier it would be than going to a brick uni. So what I have found is that I would say the majority of people that I've met through the OU have had a disability of some kind or another, and that's partially why they chose the OU, because it is so much more accessible than brick unis tend to be. So for me personally, my disabilities affect my life in I work around them, but they can affect my life quite dramatically. So there are days when I will not be able to get out of bed still, even though I'm on medication. and even though I do an awful lot to try and keep on top of it, it's not always possible. There are days when I am at half capacity, for example. There are days when I feel okay and I can do lots. So for me, and how that relates to my studies, is I try to, without overdoing it, I try to capitalize on the time I can, and also try to have, excuse me, a bit of a routine where I can, so I'll start, so this week is when my module website opens, for example. So I will start my studies on Wednesday when the module website opens. That's when I'll start, not when my course officially starts on the 7th of October. And that will ensure that I'm a bit ahead. I'm as far ahead as I can possibly be. There is no good reason, in my opinion, to wait until the module officially starts. Excuse me. There is no point in doing that, because in my experience, it doesn't benefit you in any way, unless you're particularly busy in the lead up to that. But unless that's the case, there's no reason not to start early, and a lot of people do. And even if you don't have a disability, it gives you that little bit of leeway for if something comes up that's unexpected, or if you know, over things like birthdays, special occasions, things like that. It means that you give yourself a little bit of time that you don't have to be panicking about your next deadline, for example. I know certainly for me that really helped. In my first year, I was super ahead. It made me feel like I was more in control. It made me feel like I knew what I was doing, and that if I had any queries or anything, I could get on top of those before it was even due. So I could contact my tutor or whatever it is. It didn't mean I was scrambling around. And that's how I felt last year, which is I wasn't ahead. I was behind a lot of the time, and that put way more stress on me and actually made me more poorly, because the stress of everything else that was going on in my life, and the fact that the OU deadlines were creeping up, it was an added pressure rather than what I want it to be, which is something for me, something enjoyable, something that I want to do. And it wasn't that last year, so I'm 100% getting on it this year. Something that I don't know if it was just me or if it's something that a lot of people don't know about is DSA, which is the Disabled Students Allowance. I'd never heard of it at all before I was applying for a student loan, and then I saw something about it, I think on the website, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that does apply to me. And it does, and it was incredible. So you fill out a form. If you don't know, you fill out a form that the student loans company can send you, or is it? Yeah, when I applied for my student loans, I said that I wanted to apply for DSA, and they sent me out an application form. So I filled that form out, and I had to provide a letter of evidence from my GP or a specialist, someone with authority to do so, which I did. And they, to be fair, my GP was super quick about that as well, which was good. Originally, the first person I contacted, which was my specialist, was so slow, but my GP was really quick. Then you are either told that you are accepted for it or you're not, and you are, it's sort of like a provisional assessment, or acceptance, sorry. Then you have to have an assessment by, I don't know what they're like, they are called disability assessors, I think, and they're local to, they're all over the place, so it's not just one central place, they're all everywhere. And I had mine online because it was still just post-COVID, or still within COVID times. And I was terrified. I was really nervous because I'd heard some really awful things about PIP assessments and things like that, and I just assumed it would be like that, where they're like questioning you about things and trying to make it seem like you don't have what you've been diagnosed with. It was nothing like that at all. They were literally there to find out all of the things that they could provide me with that would help me, and then that gets sent back to the DSA people, and then they say yes or no. And then if they agree to that, which from what I understand, I don't see why they wouldn't agree to it unless it's something particularly extravagant, then I don't think that they would necessarily disagree with the expert's opinion, I guess. And it might be that, you know, oh, that's a lot of money, can you give us a bit more information as to why this is specifically needed? That's kind of what my understanding of it is. But mine was all just accepted, and then I had, because part of my package that they provided me with was things like a stand-up desk, a sit-stand desk. They provided me with an ergonomic chair. They provided me, they can provide you with a laptop. It is different. England and Wales are different. Wales, I think you don't have to pay anything. Here you would have to, in England, you'd have to pay the first £200, I think, of a laptop. I already had one, so that wasn't applicable to me anyway. They gave me all sorts of software on my computer. They gave me things like, even just things like Grammarly and stuff like that. They provided me with a mentor. They provided me with, not only did they provide me with the software, they provided me with somebody who would walk me through all the software. Things like an ergonomic mouse, a footrest, just everything I needed. So what I will say is, if you are diagnosed with a disability of any kind, so I know that lots of people, like autism, dyslexia, anything like that, they're probably from what I know, are the more common disabilities that are accepted by DSA. And to be honest, I think they're probably more likely to be the people that understand a bit more about it and are told about it a little bit more. I had no idea, like I say, about it until I saw it on the student loans website. And to be honest, I assumed I wouldn't be accepted, but I thought, why not give it a go? Oh yeah, I was also given a secondary monitor as well, so I can plug my laptop into it and have a monitor. So I was provided with a lot, and I had to pay nothing for that, nothing at all. All of those things have been super helpful. I will say I don't use any of the software really. I use Grammarly, but that's about it. Some of the software, they've got like mind mapping and things like that, and I gave it a go, and I really, again, I think because it was computer based, and for me paper based tends to work better, but it is very handy for having links and things like that, so I use it sporadically. It's super helpful. First of all, it's also super helpful to have this, because then the OU are made aware of it. You sign to say that it's okay that they speak to the OU about it, and they can also put things in place for you. So they will let your tutor know, for example, if you give permission. And then if you're speaking to your tutor, and like last year I said, you know, I was constantly having fibro flare-ups, constantly having migraines again, and it was in huge part, I know now, down to the stress of last year. But I think they were a lot more, I guess, generous, because they knew that I have flare-ups and things like that. And as soon as I was struggling, I spoke to my tutor and said, you know, I'm really, really struggling. I'm in the middle of a flare-up. I keep assuming it's going to go away, and it's not going away. And they were just like, no, that's fine. We can see that that's something that you struggle with. So how about this? Would this work for you? And they really helped. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't have coped without that. And I don't have experience of tutors outside of that, so I don't know if they would still be as accepting of that, or if they didn't already know about my fibro and CPTSD and migraines, or if I was just lucky with the tutors I had, I'm not sure, but I do think it helps. I think it helps me to know that they already know that I don't have to explain myself. Just that helps. The OU can also provide something called, I think it's called Daisy Books. So when you're sent your module materials, so for example this year I've got one book, they can provide you the like the electronic copy and the software in order to listen to it, so to make it an audiobook. So for example, that's another thing that they provided me with, was noise cancelling headphones and a little microphone thing, so that I can dictate my work onto some of the software that they've given me. That is very helpful for when I'm just laying in bed and something comes up and I can just open my laptop on my lap, get to the right software, and then just speak it out. So that's very helpful. But yes, they also provided me with the headphones, which again, super helpful for if you have Daisy Books. So it's basically like Audible but with the books for uni, and they you can listen to them instead if you find that easier. I think I tried to do that in the first year and then gave up anyway. It's something I might look into this year, because I do find that when I'm walking the dog and things like that, I tend to listen to audiobooks. So that might be helpful. And again, on days when I can't get out of bed and I'm struggling with migraines, I might still be able to listen to it. It's probably worth a go. Yes, they can also send you different books, so a different binding. So they have, I haven't got mine here, but I'll use one of my son's books. So they give you one with a binding like this, usually like that, and it's just like a normal book, and then when you open it out like that, it will like flip back a lot of the time. Let me see. Instead, they can send you books like this, so that if it's easier for you to do it like that, then they can send you books bound this way. So that's super helpful, I found. And I think I haven't asked for it this year actually, but I might see if they can do me one this year. But the one of the biggest things I think is to empower yourself. That's probably one of the biggest tips I can give in a disability chat, is do as much as you can for yourself. So for me, it's things like staying hydrated, especially in this weather. It's getting ahead as much as possible. It's taking my medications properly, and looking after myself as much as possible. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't do that last year. I will be doing that this year. I'm prioritizing myself. Speak to your tutor as soon as you know you need help. I've heard some, not horror stories, but I've heard some not as nice things about tutors, and I do think that it will totally depend on the person. And I think it's the same as anywhere. You will have people who are good at their jobs and not so good at their jobs. Both tutors I've had have been fantastic. Oh, they're back. Excuse the massive loud car noise. And lastly, speak to the student help desk or the disability help desk if you need to, or even not if you need to, just speak to them and say, this is the disability I have, is there anything that you can do to help me with helping, like what can you do to help me, is there anything that you can offer? And I found that they've been super helpful with lots of things I didn't know about. Again, there will be some information online as well. When you go into your student home, there'll be information there as well. It's on the left hand side, there's a little column, and there's it'll be under disability or disability help, something like that. Sorry, they came in and they were really noisy. Okay, so yeah, so that's all for today. I know this was quite a rushed one. I apologise. I'm just trying to not wither in this heat, and I wanted to make sure you had a video today, and this one was a really important one that I wanted to get out before the start of everything else. I will say just quickly, the DSA, don't feel like you've missed out if you've applied for your student loan ages ago and it's all gone through. You can apply for DSA, I think it's up to 9 months after the course has started. So even if you are all set and ready to go student loan wise, for example, or even if you're paying for your own, go on there and see if you can still apply for it, because there's plenty of time to do it. It's not something that kind of runs out super quickly after term starts. So yeah, do that if you need to, and at least have a look into it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna go because they're back from shopping, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Bye.